France, the home of lovely croissants, the country of love, and the Paul Ricard Circuit. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the French Grand Prix. Welcome to the F1Stop show. I'm your host, Sam Oney, and with me is Wes Spearman. Wes, how are you this evening?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. It's been bloody boiling hot the last week, but yeah, I'm coping all right, I think. Yeah, I wasn't quite expecting that intro. I was expecting to get the usual sort of hello and welcome, but no, change it up a bit this week. How are you?
I'm very good, very good. The I gotta say, the weather is absolutely warm at times.
Bacon.
It's warm, it's baking, it's just the amount of showers I've had over the last day or two is absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, the French Grand Prix, the Paul Ricard circuit, the runoff on that circuit is just it just makes your eyes go, you know what I mean. But yeah, round 12, I believe.
Yeah, around 12.
And well, let's kick it off then. The French Grand Prix. So tell us, Wes, do you have any recollection of what happened last year in 2021?
It's sort of, yeah, I think. I mean, if you asked me about 2020, then wouldn't have a clue. I think 2020 was quite boring when. Was that the first? No, it was 2019. It first returned to the calendar, and then I think that race was quite boring. Don't remember much from that. Don't remember much from 2020, but last year was, it wasn't a great race. It wasn't like Silverstone Austria this year sort of level, but it was decent. I think certainly a huge step up from the previous 2 years anyway. And if you remember the Spanish Grand Prix last year, where you had Verstappen doing a one-stop, trying to see the hard tyres all the way through to the end. Hamilton doing a two-stopper, overtaking him in the dying laps of the race. It was almost that, but reversed with the French Grand Prix, where you had Hamilton and Bottas in the Mercedes doing the one-stop. You had Verstappen and Perez in the Red Bulls doing the two-stop, and Verstappen caught Hamilton with 2 laps to go on the second to last lap of the race, which it's just so. I mean, yeah, we've seen some like last lap overtakes very very occasionally, but I think for somebody to get to the second to last lap is pretty close. And I remember feeling quite quite tense watching it, especially because you had sort of Perez trying to overtake Bottas as well, and then launch an attack on Hamilton too. Um, it had that sort of tension to it that we didn't get the previous 2 years in 2019 and 2020. Through what we've seen with obviously the regulation changes, we've mentioned it time and time again, they do seem to be providing better racing, closer racing, more entertaining Grand Prix for us as spectators. So hopefully they can improve the French Grand Prix even more this year.
And it was so last year it was Red Bull celebrating on the top step, Max Verstappen taking the win. Sergio Perez came in third place with Hamilton splitting the two. Uh, how do you feel it will be this year? Because you know it's changed a lot over the last 12 months, and we're seeing some like as we've seen this season, we're seeing some different faces, or should I say the same faces but different, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, it's
So
just got a different feel to it, hasn't
yeah,
it? um, I reckon Ferrari are really in with a chance this weekend. Been on a little bit of a good roll the last couple of races. I mean, obviously Leclerc won not last week, the week before out in Austria, his first race win since for a good few months since April at the Australian Grand Prix, so round 3 I think it was. Um, yeah, again Red Bull, I think they are the team to beat at the moment, especially Verstappen winning last year. And I don't know. I just feel like Paul Ricard. I don't know actually, because it's quite flat. There isn't much sort of. I know in the background picture there is a slight sort of dip going into the first corner, but I don't really remember seeing much like elevation change or what have you. There's no like Circuit of the Americas Turn 1, for example, where you go up a massive steep
yeah.
hill left-handed, or even Austria a couple of weeks ago at the Turn 3 hairpin and Turn 4. There's a couple fairly long straights, I think, in there. Um, I say I think because it's got about 10 million different track layouts, Paul Ricard. I mean, props to the drivers for actually knowing which way to go, because, yeah, I know they've got all like boards and stuff out, but I wouldn't really have a clue. I mean, yeah, you've got white lines, but it's white lines going in all sorts of different directions. Yeah, I reckon. I mean, hopefully it's a close race and it's an entertaining race, something like we've seen over the past 3-4 weeks. Yeah, I think if Ferrari really want to get back into this championship, they need to perform over the next 2-3 races. I think because Leclerc is 38 points behind Verstappen. That's still quite a big chunk he's got to claw back at Verstappen. Yeah, I think Ferrari they're just starting to pick things up again now. Yeah, I know Verstappen went out in Silverstone, but Leclerc a couple of weeks ago, it's going to be a close. I don't know who's going to win it. I mean, it's obviously going to be Red Bull or Ferrari. I don't think we'll see a Russell or a Hamilton on the podium just yet. But I can sense it's going to be a close one. I don't know why.
Yeah. I mean, Ferrari, in the past, they tend to be good, like coming in and out of corners, but I feel Red Bull are the better team when it comes to like straight line speed. Obviously, I would say you'd say Mercedes into the mix, but they're like the third fastest car this year. So, who do you think, constructors wise, this track benefits the most? I feel that Red Bull are gonna come into Paul Ricard and probably grab maximum points potentially.
Yeah, potentially. I don't know why. I'm just thinking Ferrari this weekend. I don't know why, because yeah, you said Red Bull have had pretty good straight line speed, but I'm just thinking back to I know it seems a long way away now. But at the start of the season where Ferrari were just so quick and so much quicker than Red Bull. But it'd be interesting to see what happens when we go to Monza when that is the temple of speed. It is it's the main power circuit on the calendar. I just feel like I've just got a hunch that Ferrari are just going to come good this weekend, and I don't know why. I can't quite put my finger on why I feel like that, but I think it's going to be Charles Leclerc's day. I know it's not quite his home range being from Monaco, but it's close-ish, I guess.
It's close-ish, yes. So then let's hear your predictions then. How do you see the race? How do you see the race panning out? Who's going to be a pole sitter? Who's going to be your race winner? And give us your top five. Give us your top five to give us your top five.
I reckon pole sitter. I'm gonna go Carlos Sainz.
Okay.
I think he'll just edge out Leclerc. Again, I have no obvious reason why in my head. Race winner, as mentioned just a minute ago, Charles Leclerc. I think he's going to win. I think maybe Ferrari might implement some team orders in there somewhere. Who knows? Yeah, top five. No, I'm going to go Ferrari 1-2. I'm going to go Leclerc and Sainz 1 and 2. Verstappen P3. Russell 4, Hamilton 5.
Wow.
Perez might slip out.
So are you set? Are you set on leaving Sergio Perez out?
I'm set on leaving Perez out. Again, I don't really know why. I just think Ferrari can have a good weekend this week. I think Red Bull are going to falter. I mean, it'll make the championship a little bit more interesting, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know why. Maybe it's the heat playing with me or something, scrambling my mind. But I just feel Ferrari are going to have a good week. I mean, cut to next week's podcast when we're thinking like, oh, Ferrari both DNF, both engine failures, Verstappen P1. We'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Who's your driver of the day then?
Oh, you're driving today. Good question. I'm just trying to think because we haven't had many from the midfield so far. Obviously, I mean, usually we pick a sort of a midfield driver, but there haven't been too many that I can recall. being like
Yeah.
a Lando Norris. I don't think he's got driver of the day this year. He might have done in Imola. Yeah, I can't recall many like Ocon, Alonso, um,
Gasly's.
Gasly. I'm probably going to go Charles Leclerc, to be honest, race winner.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I
All
just
right
can't
then.
see it being a midfield team. Don't know why.
Hmm. We shall soon find out on Sunday. Right then. Pole sitter. Sergio Perez. I don't know. I've
You've gone
probably
the other
said
way
this.
to me.
I've said this in the past, but there's just a thing about Sergio Perez. He he's not a certain championship contender, but he knows how to do the job. He can win races. He can definitely out qualify his teammate, and that's what he's going to do in France. He's going to out qualify Max Verstappen, and I'm certain on that. However, to win the race, I do believe it's going to be a big ask for Sergio Perez. But the Flying Dutchman, shall we say, Flying Dutchman to win the French Grand Prix. So Max Verstappen for the race win. And then the top five. P5, Pierre Gasly. That I'm taking a huge gamble on this. Pierre Gasly. Home race. Uh he if I was to describe his season, it's not the best, but excuse me, not the best, but I feel that having your home race makes you want to, put in a little more effort, try and wow the crowd, get some points for your AlphaTauri team. So P5 for Pierre Gasly. P4, mm, I'm going to say George Russell. George Russell for P4. George Russell P4. I think he'll have a good race. So my top three. So my top three will be Max Verstappen for the win, Sergio Perez second place, and then Carlos Sainz in third.
No Charles Leclerc in that top five.
No Charles Leclerc. No.
Interesting.
I don't
Your
know.
reasoning.
I just, I don't know. Something's just telling me it may not be Charles Leclerc's weekend for podium. Who knows?
Could be an engine. They could do a science in Austria and have his engine blow up in the last few laps.
Who knows? Who knows? Driver of the day. I've got a lot of contenders for driver of the day actually. So I've got Valtteri Bottas. I've got Mick Schumacher. I've even thrown in Lance Stroll of all people.
Blimey.
Lance Stroll, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
I think the heat's definitely getting to you there.
Every time I think of Lance Stroll, I always look back to the TV directory in was it Monaco or
Yeah, Monaco was last year. Yeah, it was last year.
yeah.
Or we're about to see an overtaking Monaco. Oh wait, is Lance Stroll going over some curbs? Brilliant. Cheers, guys.
But I think my driver of the day for France is gonna be Valtteri Bottas. I think he's had a great start to his F1 season with Alfa Romeo. I don't know. I just think he's gonna have a good race. Definitely a top 10 finish. No doubt about that. No doubt. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Right. Mentions. So we've got Pierre Gasly and Esteban Ocon both entering their home Grand Prix. How would you assess their seasons so far?
I think as you mentioned there with Pierre Gasly, it's not been his best season, but then if you look at AlphaTauri as a whole, it's not been their best season either. They've slipped down to eighth in the constructors at the moment. Yeah, we are only halfway into the season, but given how well they were performing last year, and Gasly especially, this year has been a bit of a step back for them, I think, because as you mentioned, Esteban Ocon I think he's having an all right season. He's beaten his teammate by quite so margin now. Looking at it, 23 points, 52 points to Alonso's 29. Ocon sitting in 8th in the championship, just behind Lando Norris. He's 6 points ahead of Bottas. Yeah, for whatever reason, whether AlphaTauri haven't coped with the regulation change as well as Alpine, I wouldn't say Ocon is going sort of above and beyond. I wouldn't say he's having amazing races. He's getting relatively consistent points, but it doesn't feel like he's like a Lando Norris third place in Imola, for example. He's not done that. He's not doing anything extra, if that makes sense. And I suppose the same can be said for Gasly and AlphaTauri, given, as I said, they've taken a step back. Yeah, it's been a bit of a disappointing season for Gasly and AlphaTauri. Gasly's on 16 points. He's one ahead of Sebastian Vettel, and Aston Martin are having a bit of a shocker of a season. They're in ninth, is it? No, it's not. It's not quite that bad. They are in ninth, 18 points, compared to, I mean, just 2-3 years ago when they got third as Racing Point, and I know last season wasn't great for them either. I think they finished 7th. Yeah, for AlphaTauri to take a step back when, as I say, they had quite a promising season last year is slightly worrying. But I think Gasly is still, I think on skill levels alone, I think Gasly is the better driver than Ocon. But at the moment, AlphaTauri just they're not consistent enough. They're not scoring those points, whereas Alpine have a slightly better car, and not taken away from either of the two drivers, but I think Gasly is just a little bit better in having race pace, qualifying pace than Ocon. And I'm not saying that Ocon's a bad driver. He's obviously not. He's not a race winner for no reason. And he's beating his vastly experienced teammate Alonso this year as well. But give them the same car, I think Gasly will have Ocon. I think he'll beat Ocon and level pace. But it's just not looking good for AlphaTauri at the moment.
And those two F1 stories, their pathways to F1, they're almost quite similar, really. Ocon made his debut in 2016. Gasly came here a year later. I think in terms of podiums, Ocon has, I believe, 2. Gasly has 3, maybe.
That sounds about right. Yeah, if you
Yeah.
count in race wins, then yeah, because I mean they've both got a race win as well.
Yeah.
It's Gasly in, was it Monza last year or the year before? No, it was 2020. McLaren won 2 last year, wasn't it? Yeah, obviously Ocon Hungary last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ocon got a podium in
Hungary.
Sakhir.
Oh yes,
Where he
yeah.
finished second, third behind Perez and Stroll on the podium as well. And I don't think Gasly got one. Gasly didn't get one in Red Bull. He's had one in Baku, maybe another in Baku as well. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think those numbers are actually. I think you got those numbers spot on actually. Yeah, 2 and 3.
Indeed. So because time is running out, I believe you saw some. What has F1 social media got for us today then, Wes?
This has just been completely random. I mean, listeners will probably know what we're on about, but yeah, Twitter just sort of exploded sort of yesterday, day before, sort of Sunday night, Monday. These memes about George Russell, because a lot of people see George as like not necessarily your average British guy, but you sort of stereotypical British English guy. So people are saying like this one, George Russell is the type of guy to ask the waiter what's the damage before they hand in the check. There's another one. Where is it now? George Russell is the type of guy to say, "I'm just going to squeeze right by you when trying to get through a crowd." People are just like, that is the sort of thing your average, well, not average, but sort of stereotypical English guy would do. And to be honest, I can see a lot of these being fairly accurate.
Especially the first one. It's like going to dinner with George Russell to a restaurant or something, and then in some restaurants you eat before you pay. Others you have to pay before you get the
Yeah,
food. In this case, it sounds like eating before you pay. And then like, I don't know, maybe George and five other drivers have gone to dinner or something. And then they've all said, you know what, George, you have to pay for all of us because of ABC. And so they all finish their food and then, it's that time again. Check, please. And then George is like, wait, 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 wait. All right, all right, all right. How much,
right.
you know, you
What's
know
the
what I mean?
damage?
Like,
How much is it?
what's the damage? But how much money we paid? So, but yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, there's this one here that George Russell is the type of guy to say, "I won't get far without these." When he comes back to grab the car keys he forgot. There's one from, was it Ryanair, saying George Russell is the type of guy to clap when the plane lands.
Oh,
um, there's one saying George Russell is the sort of person to look at all the George Russell is the sort of person to tweets and confirm he actually does do all that stuff. And then he's quote tweeted it saying, "You know me too well." So he obviously does quite a lot of these stereotypes, I guess, apparently are quite accurate.
yeah. Oh, it's all good. It's all good fun.
It's all good fun, yeah.
And then what's this one about Günther Steiner's house trying to target P6?
I know, yeah. I mean, I'm just reading on the Formula One website, and I've seen this thing that Steiner targeting P6 in 2022. And to be fair, I don't think he's too far off. I mean, Haas, yeah, they're seventh at the moment, but I mean, so I suppose in some sense it's only another place up, and some might say, well, P6 it's not really that high, but for someone like Haas, compared from where they were last year to, I mean, to get seventh, I think is a massive achievement for them off the back of last year. Yeah, I mean, Steiner, he's being ambitious. He wants to upgrade the Steiner ship even more.
Yeah, he
Um,
does. He does. Yeah.
yeah, I think
I
P6. I
wonder. I
mean,
wonder. If, I wonder if he'd let me come aboard that ship. Do you reckon? Do you reckon he'd let me come aboard that ship?
you probably let everyone come aboard if Haas get P6.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Haas they're 17 points behind Alfa Romeo, and I think Alfa Romeo have had the rub of the green recently. Um, Haas have got some good points in the last couple of races. I think Steve Schumacher's got his first points out in Silverstone, got P6 out in Austria. They're on a bit of a roll, Haas. So I mean, yeah, there's still a long way to go in this F1 World Championship, but I reckon they could get close to Alfa Romeo because they've slowed up a little bit. I reckon, and I don't think Haas will get P6. I think they will stay P7. But it's certainly being ambitious, Günther Steiner, and I like that because it's just being a bit gung ho and being like, well, forget last year. Who cares about last year? This is where we are this
Yeah.
year. We can properly challenge for P6. Forget about the past. We're here and now. We have a good
Yeah.
car. We've got two extremely talented drivers. Let's go and get P6 into constructors. I just think that's
And
that's a brilliant mindset to have.
both Haas drivers have finished in the top six this season in terms of races. Kevin Magnussen finished P4, I believe in all right then, knowledge. Where did Kevin Magnussen finish? He finished P4 in, I believe, oh, Australia, I want to say. Or is that too early?
I don't know. I'm trying to have a look because obviously on the F1 website it's just like it just tells you the podium. I need to go
Yeah.
in. No, it wasn't. It definitely wasn't Australia. He
No?
finished 14th in Australia.
Oh,
He definitely did get. He was definitely a top six somewhere.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I just can't remember where. Maybe someone will have to point that out because we're running out of time.
Yeah. Where in what in what race did Kevin Magnussen finish P4, ladies and gentlemen? If you can answer that question, thank you very much. And then Mick Schumacher finishing P6 in Austria. That's brilliant as well. Haas will be very, very pleased with that. Günther Steiner, very pleased with that. I wonder what DTS has in store for us.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I mean, if they were following Haas around for, like, as you say, the last two races, Silverstone, Austria, then we're going to get some good, wholesome content out of that. And that will, if they're following them around for, as you say, the last two races. But who knows? It might just be all made up like it was in season 4 last year. Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of another episode of the F1 Stop show. And the French Grand Prix is with us this weekend on Sunday. So we hope you've enjoyed. We hope you've enjoyed this latest recording. So do follow us on Twitter, Instagram. You can also email us as well. And I've been your host, Sam Oney, and it's a goodbye from me. Bye-bye. And it's a goodbye from Wes.
Bye bye.
And we hope you enjoy the French Grand Prix this weekend.